Alright, let's get started. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining in. My name is Josh Swash and I'm the Chief Content Officer at RankActive. And my job here today is to share our findings in voice search optimization and make sure that you know everything to win the battle for the single answer. That's our second webinar, and I'm happy to see that we've got people who attended our previous event. So today I'll tell you about the voice search optimization. We'll go through the history of the voice recognition technology. I also try to do this really quick, and then we'll figure out what advertisers, marketers, and SEO experts have to do in order to prepare for this next wave of user interaction. And well, I'll also cover a few growth trends or what's been happening in the voice search space and give you a couple of predictions on how this technology will disrupt search landscape in the nearest future. We're going to have a little Q&A session in the end. Let me remind you that in this webinar, you don't need a webcam and microphone because you are in the listen and view only mode. However, feel free to submit any questions. So if you have anything to ask, just type it in. And by the way, group chat is disabled, so use the Q&A box, please. I'll try to answer all your questions during the last part of the webinar, but if we'll be running out of time, I'll reach back to you offline. One more thing to point out, this webinar has been recorded, so everyone will get a video of today's webinar along with the PDF version of slides. You'll find them attached to the follow-up email we're going to send to you tomorrow. So before we get to the fun stuff, let me briefly introduce the RankActive platform. So for those of you who are not familiar with our company, we are providing SEO tools for SEO experts, digital marketers, website owners, and well, pretty much everyone concerned about the performance of their websites on the web. Almost everyone in our team has some search optimization background, so we have the right to say that RankActive is the platform built by SEO experts for SEO experts and enthusiasts alike. Having over 10 years of experience in search engine optimization and digital marketing, to date we've got more than 400 people using our platform. What makes our platform handy is the variety of products we provide. With RankActive, you can track keywords rankings, search for relevant and similar keywords, manage competitor analysis, and so on and so forth. We are providing all the tools you might need to build up a successful SEO campaign. So, okay, now I'll disable my video so you can focus on the pieces of info that I'm about to share. Okay, so as you might have noticed, the digital age today is moving at the speed of light, and it's been moving for quite a long time now. So voice search is not a cutting-edge technology anymore. You know, a lot of things that seemed very sophisticated and innovative, they suddenly became mainstream. A lot of you probably talk to a digital assistant today to inquire the weather forecast or set their alarm. But have you ever wondered how voice search developed to this point where it is now? I bet you have, so let's take a quick look into the evolution of voice recognition technologies. So the first success in developing a voice recognition technology was made in the 1950s. That's when Bell Laboratories devised its Audrey system, which was able to recognize few digits. More specifically, this device could understand the numbers from 1 to 9. Not very useful, innit? So then in 1962, IBM developed their shoebox. This device was able to recognize simple math symbols, such as plus, minus, total, subtotal, alongside the 10 digits. As a result, the shoebox could perform simple arithmetics. And then in 1976, folks at Carnegie Mellon University made a big step forward. They built Hoppy, and Hoppy could understand 1011 words. And unlike all previous technologies, it was able to comprehend both female and male voices. Then in 1993, Apple launched its Plain Talk. So you can still find some of this on eBay, I guess. It looks like a little white microphone. The main problem with Plain Talk is that, it's just not for dictation. It can only listen to certain commands given by user. So, yeah, the list of commands was quite small. And then in 2007, Google launched the GOOG 411. And back then, you just call the phone number and ask about like nearest pizza store or supermarket. You then receive a text message with an answer. It looks quite primitive today, but it was actually the legitimate start of voice search, the era of voice search. But unfortunately, this service is no longer available. In 2011, Apple integrated the first voice assistant into the OS of their new iPhone 4S. They've made this technology available to millions of users, and yeah, I seem to remember how we'd spend hours and hours playing around with Siri. So let's talk about voice search today. This year, we witnessed the rapid increase in voice search. If you remember, Google launched the voice-activated speaker earlier this year and integrated Google Assistant in our TVs. We've also seen new voice-driven technologies, really a lot of them. So they've been developed and updated by other major players such as Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, and Amazon. And today, voice search is impacting pretty much all mobile devices and things like that. So we can use voice search on our smartphones, laptops, tablets, smart TVs, and personal assistants, of course. I've heard of smart refrigerators using voice search, but I've never seen one, unfortunately. But I think what's really important for us is to see what tools come into play. So people are using Google Desktop and mobile on their computers and mobile devices, of course. So Google Home and Amazon Echo are both digital assistants, Siri for iPhones, and Cortana works on Windows. So these are the main applications, and this is exactly where search is expanding outside the way that we know it today. All right, let's go to the next one. So one thing to think about is that 50% of all searches will be voice searches by 2012, according to Comstor. That's pretty substantial, isn't it? In fact, it's very likely to happen. I don't know if you remember that, guys, but last year, Sundar, SEO of Google, so he stated that as much as 20% of queries on Google mobile app and on Android devices, these are already voice searches. So I think it's very important to take this into consideration today. So 40% of adults now use voice search once a day. That's according to Location World. So we can say that 40% of your potential buyers are using voice search. So voice search is an amazing opportunity for marketers that, well, I'm sure you don't want to miss it. What's more, 50% of people are now using voice search when researching products. So if you're not ranking in voice search, you better consider that today, because your competitors are taking away as much as 50% of your potential customers only by using voice search in their marketing strategies. So as you see, there is no doubt that the future of SEO lies in voice search, lies with voice search, actually. So if you want to stay ahead of the game and prepare to meet the challenges of the modern world, it's right the time to start it today. So now I'll give you 5 tips that will hopefully stand you in a good stead. Most of us turn to voice search when looking for certain places. Most of the voice queries are very specific and contain questions about locations, working hours of stores, prices of different products, check what companies offer particular services, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly what makes voice search an incredible marketing opportunity for us. Let's say, I've got an example. Let's say the Ghana grocery store owner in Newington, London. You just imagine that you are running a grocery store in Newington. And now imagine all the customers coming off the Southwark tube station and asking Google about the organic grocery near me. Yeah, that's the query. Here comes the magic part. If your website is optimized for voice search, it's likely that this potential consumer would get full info about your products, pricing, location, and working hours. And what's more, customers can use Google Maps to plot the road to your shop. On the other hand, though, of course, that wouldn't be possible without the focus on local search. And one more thing. Remember that Amazon's Alexa relies on zip codes of businesses. So to say, Alexa is even more location specific than Google Home, that typically uses answer boxes. But we're going to talk about this a bit later. Okay, so how to optimize for local search? First of all, make sure your business can be found on Google Maps. And it's also crucial to set up a page at Google My Business and specify all the necessary details there. You also need to remember that the most important pieces of info about your business should be available in HTML. The thing is that, that Google is passing images to provide SERP data, but we wouldn't recommend relying on that too much. So the third thing, you just pay more attention to backlinks from other local websites that are relevant to a business niche. You can also look for local events and even propose them as sponsorship maybe, or you can launch your own events in the service area. Then target location-specific queries, such as those containing near me, nearby, and nearest. These words. According to Google, the number of near me searches increased by more than 130% in 2014. And you can also see that this trend continues to prevail this year, but at a bit lower rates. Also, you need to use a schema markup to indicate the name, address, and phone numbers of your business. We'll take a closer look at schema metadata and its advantages. Well, we'll do it right now. So when it comes to voice search, schema appears to be one of the most powerful, but unfortunately often underestimated SEO techniques. So for those of you who are not familiar with markup languages and schema markup in particular, I'll try to reiterate a couple of facts. So in simple terms, schema is a markup language that allows search engines to see additional pieces of info on the web page. Webmasters can use it to comprehensively describe the meaning of script on their websites. Okay, so what makes schema markup especially handy for local business owners is its adaptivity to almost any field. If you check out schema.org, you'll find a very large library containing markup examples for things like shopping centers, legal services, travel agencies, employment businesses, and so on and so forth. So everything is provided in JSON LD, RDFA, microdata. You can also check it out without markup format. So although Google recommends using JSON LD for structured data, you can also try both microdata and RDFA. Well, then you may wonder why schema is that important for voice search. Well, it may not seem that crucial at the first glance, but visibility plays a significant role here, and consequently, you want all your contact information to be displayed correctly. And that's precisely how Schema can help you. It's just been designed to avoid inaccuracies when ranking websites in SERP. Well, then, I must admit that Schema is not rocket science. For instance, here's a code. Yeah, you can see it on the slide. So that's the code you can adjust to your own website and just put it on your landing page. So Schema works with any content management system, including WordPress. And if you want your meta description to be displayed site-wide, just add it to your custom scripts in the settings, or find the footer PHP file, footer PHP, and insert it there. Okay, so the third thing is about targeting long tail and voice-friendly keywords. Assuming that you understand that people don't type the same way they speak, it's fairly clear that regular keywords can't be used with voice search. If you want to optimize for voice search, you should not only bait on the long tail, but also ensure that your keywords reflect the way people ask questions in real life. Okay, so first, let's talk about the optimal length of voice-friendly keywords. The graph you see on the screen illustrates the difference between the length of voice and text searches performed by Katana users in this case. So as you see, speech searches are longer and usually contain more than 4 words. So it starts with 3 words and then up to 10 plus. So the second difference between voice and text queries is the usage of particular question words. According to the study by SEO Clarity, 20% of potential voice searches were triggered by the 20% of potential voice searches were triggered by the top 25 question words that you can see on the screen. So the top 3 question words are how, what, and best. And well, surprisingly, but near me searches are not in the list. Okay, here is an example. Let's take an example of the Brighton-based pizza restaurant and try to build the list of long-tail conversational keywords for it. So, first of all, not every keyword research tool can help you to find voice-friendly keywords. So, frankly, we would need a specific software to find out what questions people are asking about a particular keyword. My favorite tools are Storybase and Answer the Public. Let's take a look at both of them. Okay, so Storybase. Although Storybase is a paid service, it offers a powerful engine for finding voice-friendly phrases and questions. Bearing in mind that potential customers may look for the nearest pizza restaurant, we type in the pizza near me query. So the list of the most relevant phrases, you can see it on the screen. And additionally, Storybase gives a list of questions related to a keyword. Okay, Answer the Public. Answer the Public is famous for its interface and data visualization mainly. Just like the previous tool, it offers questions. But nevertheless, these guys went further and added keywords with comparisons and prepositions. So let's take a closer look at the results. So here you see questions. Here are comparisons, prepositions, and related queries. So as you see, we've got a lot to choose from. And the main disadvantage of Answer for Public compared to Storybase is that it just simply doesn't provide country-based search. Nevertheless, unlike the Storybase, it's available for free. Yeah, so that's a big benefit. So after the selection of conversational keywords, we need to see how they stand against the SERP. You can do that with our rank tracker. So if you go to RankActive website and then start using our rank tracker, you can get all popular search engines, locations, daily rankings, data comparisons, free ranking updates, and well, just all necessary metrics. Okay, LSI. As weird as it sounds, the main problem with voice search is the freedom it gives to users. It allows people to talk more loosely, which often means that there can be dozens of ways to ask the very same question. LSI, or Latent Semantic Indexing, helps Google and other search engines to contextualize content. Latent semantic indexing, so according to the definition by Search Engine Journal, LSI is a mathematical method used to determine the relationships between terms and concepts in content. You can find LSI keywords at the end of every search results page in Google and Bing. I'm pretty sure I've got the same in Yahoo. On the slide, you can see LSI keywords for Google and Bing. But you may wonder, why is LSI important for voice search? You see, when Google crawls through web pages, every piece of content is checked to ensure that a user will get only accurate results relevant to their query, which is quite obvious. So by making sure you represent different ways to say the same thing in your content, you increase the confidence that the algorithm will determine your site provides the most accurate answer. For example, if the title of your page is something like Pizza Brighton, search engines will expect to find words that you see on the screen, such as Pizza Brighton Delivery, Very Italian, Pizza Brighton, Pizza VIP, and so on and so forth. You can find LSI keywords by using the related search in our new keywords finder. Okay, you might have noticed that almost all the techniques that we discussed today, they can be used in case of answer boxes, in case of optimizing for answer boxes. The thing is that Google is using answer boxes in voice search. However, there is no evidence that answer boxes are providing location-specific results. So, in general, if you're already ranking in answer boxes or position 0, that's how we sometimes call them here at RankActive, and ranking in local search, well, congratulations then, you're optimized for voice search already. Yeah, but that's not the case with Alexa. Yeah, because Alexa, I don't rely on answer boxes, obviously. And so we come to the last part of our today's webinar, which is called the future voice search. Well, first of all, I wouldn't say that voice search is a keyword killer. I certainly wouldn't say that. But at the same time, it's crucial and it's crystal clear that such technologies will be having a significant impact on how people search in the following years. The number of users of digital assistants like Siri, Cortana, Alexa, Google Now, and others is likely to increase exponentially over the following years. So there's going to be more and more challenges to digital marketers and SEO experts. In fact, we can no longer afford to ignore upcoming changes. So now, on the behalf of my team, I'd like to give a couple of predictions on the future of voice search and its influence upon the digital marketing industry. First things first, conversational queries will take over search. As you already know, digital assistants can understand long-form questions, and it's exactly how users interact with them. Second, your click-through rates, your CTR, will sink. Well, it may seem like a bad thing because users won't be coming to a website that often, but you can still benefit from digital assistants. Users will be buying your services, still be buying your services, and listening to your content even without visiting your page on the web, which is quite impressive. Third, there'll be more personalization than ever before. You probably know that digital assistants are already collecting data on the way we serve the web. And the further evolvement of IoT and digital assistants will make it possible to adjust this serve to the needs of every individual based on our habits. So from favorite cuisine to the style of clothing, everything will be taken into an account. And the last one, last but not least, Google is likely to dominate in voice search. That's thanks to a recent invention by Geoff Hinton. There is a concept called neural networks, and that's the technology behind the voice search as it is today. So it can turn out to be outdated. So there is another concept called capsule neural nets, and it may significantly decrease error rates. So since Geoff works for Google, we can expect that it'll be integrated across the platform sooner rather than later. In addition to that, Apple Siri has recently switched from Bing to Google, making Google the predominant search engine in the world of voice search. And in fact, that's already happening. Okay, so that's the end of our today's webinar. Feel free to drop us a line via email that you see on the screen. And by the way, we have a Black Friday sale. Just visit our website and you'll get 90% off for any subscription plan for 1 month. And now we have some time for a little Q&A session. Okay, just let me take a look at your questions. Okay, so Michael asks, what role do you think Amazon will play in this? Okay, just let me turn on the camera. Okay, Michael. Amazon Echo is a digital assistant. So they don't have their own search engine yet. They're using mostly Google, Bing, and Yahoo. So if you go to Amazon Echo webpage, you'll find top search engines that users go for when using Echo. So there are Google, Bing, and Yahoo. Yeah, and I think that in general, Amazon is going to play the massive role in voice search. Certainly, they won't help you to optimize for it. That's the thing you should do on your own behalf. But, well, in general, Amazon is competing Google in this field. So, yeah, so the role will be big. Okay, here's Nick. How do you think will Bing develop his own voice search after they said that they're stopping Windows mobile platform? Well, it doesn't really matter whether Windows is gonna stop mobile platform or not. The thing is that Bing, they don't stop developing Bing as a search platform. And Bing is supporting voice search. I mean, I've got Cortana on my Windows. I'm using Windows 10. I've got Cortana, and that's a pretty nice voice assistant. I mean, in my humble opinion, they can't compete with Google Home and Amazon Echo, but Cortana is quite helpful. Okay. So I don't have any questions. So it's time to wrap it up. Good. So thank you very much for attending. And I really hope to see you next time. Bye.